All right, let's get to our AEW Dynamite results for January 13th, 2021. First up, Pac versus Eddie Kingston to start off the night. Winner, Pac. I gave this a 3.75. This was a good match, mostly Pac. We understand Eddie Kingston's style. He's not a high flyer or anything like that. Sells his injury well. It was good to see Pac out there, but this was just an okay, good run-of-the-mill AEW match, so we gave it a 3.75. Next up, we got Chuck Taylor versus Miro, and Miro just dominated him the whole match. This was a decent match. Miro with the win. I gave this a 3.50 just because it wasn't a lot of action, just as much as just Miro just dominating Chuck Taylor, and now he's little Chuck Taylor's Cabana Boy or whatever the heck it is. But it was an okay match, to be expected. We have a check-in with Private Party and Matt Hardy. We'll see where it's going on with that angle. Then we get checked in with the Inner Circle and their New Year's resolutions. And we're going to set up a nice little tag team match next week with Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara, and teaming up with Jericho and MJF, and then Santana and Ortiz. That was a kind of nice little twist. That should be the match of the night next week. The Dark Order checks in, begging Adam Hangman Page to join them. He'll be in a match next week with the Dark Order. It was a lot of fun. That was a great segment. And, because that was a real question fans had. What's going on with the Dark Order? We'll see. And as this match begins, we'll find out what's going on. And then the Hangman Page said he would tell them what he's going to do after the match. Then we get the big swerve of the night. It was going to be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman, and Danny Limelight. Congrats to Danny Limelight. He looked great in this match as well, getting the shot after some really good matches on Dynamite. However, instead, the Good Brothers came out, and winner Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. That was very surprising. Gave this one a 3.75. Kenny Omega was good. Danny Limelight was good. This was a good match. A little twist there. We thought maybe the Young Bucks, and that was a quick kind of turnaround. They turned their back on the Young Bucks. So we'll see where that goes with that. Then Moxley came out, and all heck broke loose. Big old brawl started. So this is going to set up a bunch of angles because my man Lucha Bros came out, and then a bunch of other people came out, and so we'll see where this leads to. But it was definitely setting up some kind of long-term storytelling, which was cool. Then we got Dr. Britt Baker. Her guest, Cody Rhodes, he basically said nothing. Then Jade Cargill comes out. We haven't seen her in a while. She talks some trash. And then Red Velvet comes out, so it's setting something up. Finally, we get to see Jade Cargill in action, hopefully against Red Velvet soon. And then they also teased that on the big winter-summer event, whatever, Bash at the Beach type deal, that Britt Baker will take on Thunder Rosa then. So that should be a good match as well. Tag teams, Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and not Luchasaurus, but Marco Stunt versus FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. Winner FTR, I gave this a 4.0. This was my elite match of the night. Jungle Boy was great. FTR was great. Marco Stunt was awesome. And this was a fantastic match. I really enjoyed this one. I wasn't sure if I would or not. But again, everything about this put together. FTR has been really impressing me. They're not like super exciting per se to watch, but they're great workers with other people and really bring those other people out. And that's why I think they're an asset. I am definitely turning the page. I don't know if I would pay to see FTR up against somebody else, but I wouldn't pay to see FTR versus, the Varsity Blondes, for example. They're just not ready yet. That was a good match, definitely elite match of the night. Then we get Serena Deeb versus Tay Conte. And this was a good match. I mean, Serena Deeb, she needs somebody. She can wrestle. There's no question about that. And she's in the ring general. She is one of the best, if not the best, in AEW. But she just needs a mouthpiece. The lead up to this wasn't that great. Tay Conte, I was worried about her, but she definitely delivered. Now she elevated her. She should be in the top 5 on the women's lists from here on out, because they both put on a great show. I gave Serena Deeb with the win. I gave this a 3.5. This is probably one of my better ratings for women's matches in a while. And I was like, oh, this is a 3.25. But no, I didn't really turn away. And I think Tay Conte impressed me a lot. I think she's come a long way, and we'll see where her character goes. But she is definitely, I would put her in the top 5 female wrestlers, along with Serena Deeb, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida. I'm not really sure about Abaddon. I mean, Nyla Rose, isn't it? But I'm not really sure about Nyla Rose, to be honest with you. This was a good women's match, and that sets up our finale. The TNT Championship match, Darby Allin versus Brian Cage, with Brian Cage just beating down Darby Allin. I gave this one winner. Sting came out at the end, but winner Darby Allin. I gave this one also a 4. I thought Brian Cage really impressed me in this match, and I liked how the storytelling in it, which was just him dominating, but Darby Allin doesn't quit, and in the end gets the win. The person that impressed me the most, I mean, we know Darby Allin can take a bump with the best of them, and he certainly did. But it was really just watching Brian Cage in action. Basically, this match definitely, even though he lost, it highlighted him. We get Sting, of course, coming out. And with the save, winner Darby Allin, I gave this a 4.0. So this was not the Brody Lee tribute show, which was off the charts. But this was a good show, setting up things to come next week and forward to the month of February and March. Next week's card for AEW Dynamite should be an interesting show. I think the main event is going to be the Inner Circle Tag Team match. Santana and Ortiz and MJ versus MJF and Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager. Sammy Hager. Yeah, that was a pretty funny little bit. We get Jon Moxley versus somebody to be determined. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Danny Limelight, just because he's had a couple good showings. And usually they do this and kind of give it to one of the guys that have been doing well in Dark. I wonder if Danny Limelight gets the nod against Jon Moxley. We get Nyla Rose versus Layla Hirsch. And on the Reddit, somebody had posted about Layla Hirsch versus Alex Reynolds. If you want to see a good guy versus girl match, this one really impressed me with Layla Hirsch. It's an old match in the indie days. I forget what the indie promotion is, but look up Layla Hirsch versus Alex Reynolds, and it really not only put Alex Reynolds over for me, but really put Layla Hirsch for me. And I think she's one of the top 5 female wrestlers. She just needs to be paired with somebody, I think, to be that mouthpiece as well, and I think she would do good. I've always thought, and I've said this before, a women's faction would be very interesting. We've never really seen that before. We've got NWO, we've got other, the Dark Order and Inner Circle and DX, but never like a really good women's faction. I think AEW should do something like that, and I think Layla Hirsch and Serena Deeb could be players in that faction. Tag team match, Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, Colt Cabana, John Silver, Alex Reynolds versus the Hybrid 2, Angelico and Jack Evans, and the Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. I might have picked somebody else, but okay, we'll take them. We got Miro with his new butler, Chuck Taylor. That should be a fun little segment. And then another tag match, Matt Sydal and Top Flight, Darius Martin and Dante Martin versus Matt Hardy and Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. I'm not really down with the whole Matt Hardy Private Party matchup connection just yet. I think, sticking Matt Sydal with Top Flight, that should be real interesting. I wonder if that's the match that kicks off the show. And that's the card for next week's Dynamite. All right, let's quickly go through our AEW Dark results for January 12th. First up, Ricky Starks defeated Mike Verna. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus defeated my man Fuego del Sol and Ryzen. I said that right, I think, this time. Tay Conte defeated Marty Daniels. The Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alan Angels, Preston Vance, and Colt Cabana defeated Adam Priest, Danny Limelight, Sean Dean, Very Morales, and Zach Clayton. Will Hobbs defeated Louis Val. Red Velvet defeated Leva Bates. Dark Order, of course, Alex Reynolds and John Silver defeated El Australiano and Casey Navarro. Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman and Griff Garrison defeated Aaron Solo and Lee Johnson. Anna Jay defeated Alex Gracia. Serena Deeb defeated Tesha Price. And Bear Country, Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson defeated Baron Black and Nick Camaranto. And then finally, Top Flight, Darius Martin and Dante Martin defeated Chaos, Chaos Project, Luther, and Sir Pentico. And that wraps this week's AEW Dark.